Welcome back. I'm in the studio with Beverlyn, John and Angus McMillan, both counsellors, and we've been talking through some of the issues you've brought to our attention. You can call us whenever you're ready, but I have a feeling you're actually liking to listen to other people's problems. Sometimes it takes us away from our own. So here's another one. I look after my parents who are in their 80s. My dad can go to town and meet his friends, but my mum needs help. My marriage is suffering because I have to cook for them both, take it to them, serve them, and clean up and put my mum to bed every night after I put my son, who's 10, asleep. My husband's family are telling me that it is worrying them that my father is taking advantage of me. I am an only child. I do think so too, but I was raised to speak to my dad when spoken to, so I don't know how to start the conversation. My husband has stopped talking about the situation, and I know that means he's really upset. How should I approach my dad? Beverlyn?
It's hard because obviously she has to break a bar, but she will need to speak to her father. She has to find a way to maybe invite him for dinner and say, Dad, or sit him down and say, Dad, I really need to speak with you. And instead of saying, you do this, you do that, take ownership. I feel. Tell him how you feel. You're disappointed, hurt, overwhelmed, stressed when you leave Mum and go to town and I have to take care of her by myself. And if you use that term, just use yourself and expressing how you feel rather than, and then that way he will realize this is about you rather than him. It's not you getting at him, and hopefully it will make him open up to conversation. Then you can maybe ask him to devise a plan where you may do alternative nights so that you're not saying to him you're not going to help. You'll continue to help, but you need him to help you take some of the stress away. So one night you help, the other night he don't. Come up with a timetable that you can both agree with.
Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes it is about, it is always about communication, and finding a way to talk to the person, because it sounds to me as though she is quite afraid of her father,
Yes.
and also with a need to look positive in his eyes, from what I'm hearing. But also the issue is, if it is affecting her so badly, and it's also obviously starting to affect her marriage, then she needs to recognize that it's about her, as Evan was saying, but it's also about recognizing that perhaps something needs to happen differently. Perhaps, maybe if they need somebody, maybe even twice a week or something like that, somebody to come in to stay with Mother, so that the father can go. That type of thing, looking at the resources that are available in the community. If they belong to a church, is there someone at the church that might be willing to come in and help for a short period of time?
So maybe she could explore those things so that when she sits and speaks to her dad, she can say, you know, here are some other options and let's try and all do this together. Okay, let's move on to another question. I am 40 years old, this is a male, and see younger men around me looking like they're more successful than I am. I have worked for 23 years at the same company and I have been promoted 3 times. And I am now a manager. I am single and saving for a deposit to buy a house. How can some men seem to live life so effortlessly?
The operative word there is seem.
Yes, because I was going to say the grass always looks greener on the other side.
Okay.
That's what I see.
And you know, you never know. There are many entrepreneurial young people around. So maybe they have a job there, but they're doing import-export, or they're selling something on the side, or
Hopefully
they have
legal.
some sort of, hopefully legal, or some little business that's happening. And the reality is, you know, it's you've got to managerial position. What is it that you're wanting? Is it that your time with this particular company after 23 years has become stale? Is it that you need in something new? What is the situation? If you're 23, he's probably in his 40s, I suppose, if he started working there to begin with. But sometimes we need to do what we need to do.
What about looking at it, to me, I would look at it the other way around. If he's in his 40s, he is looking, putting a deposit together, I think he's doing the right thing, and I think he should give himself a pat on the back. You know, he should give himself a pat on the back and say, you know what, I am doing very well. I don't know what the others are doing. That's up to them. But I've reached, I'm single. He doesn't say if he has children or not, but he's single. He has little responsibility, but he's doing the right thing right now.
And also comparing yourself with other people never works. Because I have my abilities and capabilities, you have yours. But I can't compare. It's like chalk and cheese, because we're two different people. I can compliment you on one particular area of your life, and whatever it happens to be, but I can't compare my life with yours, because what I do with my life is not what you do with yours.
Beverlyn?
I have to say he's achieved quite a lot. He's been consistent in the same company for 23 years, so he should have built up a very good, significant pension, if nothing else, which he might not have seen. He's been promoted 3 times. A lot of persons stay in the same company without any promotion, any recognition. He's at a managerial position. So sometimes, instead of looking at what they haven't got, start looking at what you do have.
Yes.
What you do have, and start appreciating what you have done. And as I say, do never compare yourself with anyone else, because you always feel that you're failing. Instead of looking at that, it's looking at what you've done, how you've got this far. And there are many others out there that can't even get a job.
Yes.
Far less have it for 23 years.
And also, as far as you know, you have your health.
Yes.
So just keep on going. Don't look at anybody else.
I always say, build a shrine to yourself with all your accomplishments. Stick them in the corner, and that's your self-esteem builder.
Yes, that's a nice little touch.
Sometimes that's important for people.
And each day identify something good that you have done, something that you've achieved on a daily basis.
Well, just remember the things that you have achieved on a daily basis. That's all. Okay, I am female and 45. I think I may be bisexual. I've had relationships with men, but I've never felt totally satisfied sexually and emotionally. When I listen to gay women talk about their lives, apart from straight people thinking they're bad, they always say they are fulfilled. I do believe that a woman would understand another woman's body better, and I have found a woman attractive, but I wouldn't know where to begin to explore my sexuality. What would your guests suggest?
Be open to any form of relationship. I guess the thing is, I mean, she said she thinks she's bisexual. It's very difficult to know if she is bisexual when she's never experienced a sexual encounter with the same sex. So she doesn't really know. What she knows is that she hasn't been fulfilled with the partners that she's engaged in. Maybe they just haven't been doing the right things to make her feel fulfilled. It may not be that she's bisexual. She just haven't met the right partner.
So how does she know that, though?
Yes,
how can she?
I mean,
how does she know?
Yeah, it's a peculiar thing because sexuality is such an odd thing that people don't like to talk about. But the reality is that at the end of the day, if there is a physical attraction, there is a physical attraction. We don't choose to have physical attractions. They happen. What we choose, the choice that we have, is what we do with that attraction. We can either leave it, acknowledge it and let it be, or we can choose to act on it. And it sounds to me as though she's fluctuating somewhere in the middle there, not sure what to do. Is it that she's afraid of being judged by society? What's happening with her? And the only way to know that is to find out a little bit more about her.
Yeah, but where would she go? Who can she talk to? You know, because when it comes to someone's sexuality, it's very private.
It is very private.
And you don't really want to talk about it to the wrong person, especially when you're talking about not having, to being, challenging the sexuality that people presume that you are.
Yes.
Because
but see, according to Freud, and I think he's probably right, our drives, 2 major drives, are aggressive and sexual. And therefore they become really important in our lives. And if we remain unsatisfied in the sexual area, then it affects how we feel about ourselves. And therefore it becomes important to reconcile our feelings and to reconcile whether we act on what we feel, or whether we decide, like I said before, to acknowledge it, but decide that I don't want to go there for whatever reason. It may be religious, it may be moral, it might, whatever it happens to be. But the reality is we are human beings, and what we experience is what we experience.
But then if she doesn't go there, and she'll never know.
She'll never know.
So therefore she'll always have that doubt.
Yeah, exactly.
And she'll end up going into relationship because it's what she is expected of her and not what she really wants. I would say that if there's a person that she feels attracted to of the same sex, explore what that is like. And once you've explored it, then you make that decision whether, you know what, I've done it, no, it's really not for me, I wasn't comfortable with it, I felt uncomfortable for whatever reason. Could it be because of society, because it's not the accepted norm, or because it didn't really provide what I was expecting from it? And then she had the idea to make a decision.
Okay, so it looks like what you're saying is there's some choices. One of them is, you know, find a counsellor, someone you can talk to. The other one is perhaps when you get yourself in a certain situation, then the answer will become apparent, but you've got to get there, because you just sit there and expect it to come to you. It may not happen. So it means that you may have to forcefully get yourself into a situation that will make or break you in terms of, well, yes, actually, I may have tendency towards that, or, oh, no, I don't.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Well, this is Dolor Factor Live. We're going into our last break now. When we come back, one or two other questions you have for us here, and then we'll wrap up. So we'll see you soon.